Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Georgia Sports Nation. We got some more Hawks and Braves content on tap for you guys tonight. We're going to be discussing the Hawks 2023-24 season preview event. Landry Fields, Bob Rathman, Dominique Wilkins, and Kobe Buffkin as well were there to speak about what they thought of the Hawks offseason, what can we expect from the Hawks as far as just the roster goes, and what they looked at so far in their players this summer. So I'm going to be speaking a little bit about that event and what happened there. Also going to be going over a Legion Hoops tweet discussing what players we think that they have a ton of skill and they're really overlooked by the media or by just casual NBA fans. We're going to be discussing that tweet. And for the Braves, we're going to be recapping the series win against the Mets this week. August 23rd, we had the four Hall of Famers, if you include Jeff Francoeur's Georgia High School Football Hall of Fame membership there. We had them in the booth on Wednesday, so that was a great broadcast. We're going to be discussing the series win and previewing another Giant series. Last week we were on the show previewing the Giant series at home. This time we're going to be previewing the Giant series in San Francisco. So it'll be a little bit different this time, but the pitching and the philosophies of each team will remain largely the same. But without further ado, let's get to it. We got Will here. And first off, discussing the season preview event, Landry Fields had spoke about a lot of the rookies. Namely, obviously, you got Moji, Maggiet, Seth Lundy, and then you've got Kobe Buffkin. And he spoke a lot about Kobe Buffkin and his work ethic. And he's been watching Kobe Buffkin since high school. So I think, Will, a lot of the Hawks fans, when we drafted Kobe Buffkin, thought Landry, especially from that tweet, was like overreacting when we got Kobe Buffkin. But it seems to me Landry Fields has had his eye on this guy for a long time, since high school. Will, you there?
Yeah, I agree, man. What we got to understand, these guys do thorough homework on these guys. They got scout team guys that do homework from these guys when they was freshmen in college or when they was, you know what I'm saying, like in high school, juniors in high school, you know what I'm saying? So they do it. Intensive homework on these guys. A lot of these guys are not just picks out of the hat, you know what I mean? So like as we learned with Buffin though, he kept getting better as the summer games were going on, man. He was getting better. He's gaining. He was improving.
Yeah, and that's what Landry said next. He said you have to be able to play through mistakes, and Kobe has that. You saw in the first couple games. On pick and rolls, he would turn the ball over on pocket passes. You know, he looked to score off that pick and roll and did it really well, especially in that mid-range area, and he can shoot the three ball well. But in the last few games, especially when he hit that game winner, you saw he was more poised. You saw he was ready for the NBA game speed that was Summer League this summer. So that was awesome to see. And Landry said the locker room really likes him, and he's a high energy guy. So those are all good qualities that Landry sees in Kobe Buffkin. Now, he went up to speak about Maggiet, and I thought this was really interesting. The first thing he said about Moji is that Kyle Korver loved him.
Oh, before you get started on him,
oh yeah,
I just say that I just want Buffkin to work more on that assist game. That's what he was lacking at a lot. He was lacking at assist a lot in the summer games. You know, summer league. He was lacking at assist, but he was getting better. I seen him getting better, starting to pass the ball, but I really think he need to focus on that. Focus on getting his assist up, you know, not so much thinking of himself as a scorer all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like I think a lot of that will just come with experience, getting to the NBA game speed and getting used to it, especially because at Michigan, he didn't really play a lot of point guard. He mostly played the two. Yes, there were some minutes and a good chunk of minutes actually that he did play point guard, but he was more comfortable at the two, and that's what Brad Rowland reported as well when we first drafted Buffkin. So I think that, like you said, yes, that passing game definitely should improve, and I think it will as long as he gets some backup point guard minutes. Or I don't think they're gonna send him to College Park, but if he gets a full rotation, backup minutes at point guard early in the season, that tells us that the Hawks saw something in those final two games that think, okay, you know, he's ready to handle a bit of an offense for maybe 7-8 minutes of the game while Trey and DeJounte take a rest.
We picked up a backup point guard, right?
Yeah, we did. Patty Mills. So that's interesting to see what Quinn does.
So I really don't see him going down to college ball. I see him being used as a point and a two, for lack of for a better word. You know what I mean?
Like a combo guard.
Like, right, use him as a combo guard. As depth preferences and whatnot. So I really think he's gonna be on the back end of that rotation now.
Yeah, I hope we see some minutes from him early in the season. I'm not sure if we will, just because the Patty Mills, the veteran presence, and Quinn. And for Quinn Snyder, he really likes shooting threes. Now, Kobe Buffkin and Patty Mills can both shoot the three ball, but Patty Mills has been an established shooter in this league for 10 plus years, or almost 10 years. So it's going to be interesting to see who he goes with to begin the season. Now, Maggiet, the first thing Landry said about him was Kyle Korver really caught his eye. Kyle Korver loved this guy. And it started with John Schriedler, a scout for the Hawks. Landry has been apparently Schriedler has been telling Landry Fields about Maggiet for 2 years, and that goes back to what you said, Will. These guys really do their homework. They have a whole scouting staff that scours across the world and the U.S. to find talent. And like Maggiet played 2 years at Washington State, and now look at all the way at the opposite side of the country, and you see guys from the Hawks out there. They said they're really high on him, and they were impressed what he did in summer league for sure. That was what Landry said. What were your thoughts on him during the summer?
Great, and rightfully enough, this man had plenty of talent. He showcased it on both sides of the ball. I was impressed with him the whole summer league. So, like I said, that's what I liked it about these young guys at summer league. You seen the growth; they was growing. That first game didn't look as good, but as they kept going, they kept growing. You know what I'm saying? They kept getting better. You didn't see a decline. You seen an increase of what they was doing, what they was bringing from the practice field onto the game field. You know what I mean? So, like, that's what you want from them in the summer league. You want them to show growth, improvement, knowing that they're paying attention to what the coaches are telling them.
Exactly. And for Guille, what impressed me the most, honestly, yes, we knew he could shoot the ball at that 4 with great length. He also has some putting the ball on the floor ability as well for a big man. But what impressed me the most, honestly, was his timing on help side rejections, help side block, help side defense. I think his on ball post defense, that can get a little better. He does need to get in the weight room a bit, but that help side IQ. And we saw some blocks, some emphatic rejections from Gay all across the season.
I was just about to say that he got to get in that weight room because these starters in the NBA gonna take advantage of him. Yeah. I mean, it's all good. He can block a shot, but they're gonna put that body on him. They're gonna put him up under the rim. You know what I'm saying? So he got to get in there and put some weight on, man.
Exactly. And then as we move on here, Landry spoke about Seth Lundy and really stuff we mostly knew about him. We know he's a lethal shooter. And Landry said he's known about Seth Lundy for quite some time. But what really caught his eye during the combine was the confidence and the game transition from college to the NBA. So Seth Lundy, his primary goal, catch and shoot shooter. He's got good size at the 2. And I think when you have somebody like that who knows their role and is confident about putting shots up, Landry says that translates really well to the NBA. And it's not as much of a transition as, say, a point guard who's learning the speed of the game, or a center who's learning the rotations, learning that timing on those help side rejections, and so on and so forth. So I really like what Landry said about Seth Lundy in that case.
Right. Like, point guard is one of the hardest positions, to transition into when you coming into the league from a college team, because there's so much involved in the point. The point runs everything. You got to control everything. You got to set up the piece. You got to call out the pieces, and the set, what I'm talking about. You got to call them out. And it's a lot of stuff. All you got to do as a 2 guard is catch and shoot.
Yeah.
Move around without the ball, catch and shoot. That's all you got to do. But at the point guard, you got to transition from this play to another play. If this play don't look right, you got to change it. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of stuff involved into it being a point guard. So it was easier for him to transition than it was Buffin. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
and my favorite thing that Landry Fields said throughout the entire night was this: He said the Hawks have always had 7 to 10 guys consistently during the summer staying in Atlanta and getting in the gym and putting in work. I think, and he emphasized how rare that is. Normally,
I love that.
you'll have 4 or 5 guys here at a time maybe, and that's great. But the Hawks, he said, have consistently had 7 to 10 guys in the gym here at the same time because players will go home and everything. But I thought that shows the camaraderie of this team. The team chemistry is at a good level. And I think they really want to accomplish something big this season. That was my favorite thing I heard from the event the entire night.
Yeah, this let me know that their eyes on the prize. The prize is to get into the playoff and try to go deep. That's what they want to do. They want to try to go deep in the playoff this year, not try to get bounced early. So I think they really focused on it, man. And these guys and the coach got them locked in. Coach got them locked in, man.
And Fields briefly touched on John Collins. He said JC was a significant part of the organization, and he maintained level head and professionalism throughout this process. So he admired him for that. He also talked about DeJounte Murray and how DeJounte believes in what Landry Fields is doing. He said that was why a large part of why he thinks he signed the contract, and he thinks that's the highlight of the summer. The highlight is signing DeJounte Murray. And Trey and DeJounte have been working out together a lot this summer. That's what Landry said. So we've seen those our 2-star guys in our backcourt really getting even more camaraderie. They were the first pair of teammates since Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen to both average over 20 points and 6 assists in the season last year. And now they're gonna get even better, especially Trey. I feel like Trae Young's not gonna have as bad of a shooting season as he did this year. And when DeJounte Murray fits in more of that offense and learns Quinn's system, as well as everybody on this team really learns Quinn's offensive system, our offense is just going to get even better, while it was even top 3 when we ended the season last year.
Oh, yeah, Trey been training with Perry again, so I'm thinking he's really serious about getting this 3 down. I'm being more consistent at the 3-point line. You know what I'm saying? So
I hope so, because last year we saw Trey get in work with Steph Curry as well last summer, and it didn't work so well from the 3-point line. At least everything else was great from Trey, but hopefully we see different results and better results this season beyond the arc.
I'm gonna chalk that up. He was trying to get used to the coach. That's what I'm gonna chalk it up to.
We'll see.
I'll chalk it up to that,
and towards the end, we saw Kobe Buffkin for about 10-15 minutes, and from what he said, I gathered that he was really impressed by Moji, like just playing with him. He thought he was a great teammate. He was a great big man in pick and rolls, and he also said AJ was a great leader in summer league. He really paid attention to all the young guys, mentored them in timeouts, especially after the 2 games he played. We saw AJ play 2 games. He was handling the ball a lot, doing stuff that he's not going to be normally asked to. So for AJ, it was more of just an experiment and trying to get a little bit out of his comfort zone. But after those 2 games, AJ really locked in and helped these young guys every game at Summer League. So that was a great quality in AJ, who's just 20 years old, and Kobe is just 19. So you got 2 young guys already talking about that like each other. That's what you want to see from a young team.
I really hope AJ gets better this year, man. I hate for him to be a disappointment, man. Cause I really like the kid, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think AJ's gonna be a great player in this league. Well, other than that, any other final thoughts on that preview before we move on to this Legion Hoops activity, we'll call it?
No, I ain't got nothing else on it. Go ahead.
A couple hours ago, actually, I did see this tweet, and here I'll pull it up here. It's what NBA player reminds you of this, and I'll take away the title here so we can see it better. Which NBA players reminds you of? So your skill and play is through the roof, but nobody really knows about you, which is why the popularity is down low. So for me, and we'll hear from Will first. Will, what player on the Hawks reminds you of this?
Of what, being talented?
Yeah, of what being talented, like, just not as popular, like nobody really knows about him. Like obviously, you have like Trae Young. Yes, he may be hated by the media, but everybody knows about him.
But everybody knows about it, right.
So who has a lot of skill, but nobody knows about, who may break out, something like that?
Oh man, I'm just gonna man. Yeah, they sleeping on my boy Clint Capella, man.
Clint
The
Capella.
popularity ain't up there with Clint, but he
Oh,
got
for
all
sure.
the talent. He got all the talent, man. This guy go out there and snatch you 20 rebounds in the quickness, 5 blocks in the game. You know, it's just like, but nobody really pays attention to that. You know what I'm saying? Like they used to all the 3-point shots and all this. You know what I'm saying? But he's down there redirecting the offense mindset. You know what I'm saying? So like they come in with a game plan until he's always in the way. You know what I'm saying? So I think they really sleep on Clint Capella though.
I think I agree. I think a ton of people sleep on Clint Capella, and they think obviously Okongwu's. I think he's ready to start. I think he's going to be amazing this year, and he's going to take a big leap. But if we do trade Clint Capella, we will miss that rebounding. We will miss that paint protection and just that steady presence that he's been since he's been in Atlanta. We'll definitely miss that. For me, I'm actually going to go with the other center. I think it's Onyeka Okongwu. I don't think other teams and the NBA media are ready to see what kind of a defender Onyeka Okongwu can be in this league. He's already expanding to the mid-range. We saw him take a couple threes and taking more threes this summer at the Drew League runs. We also see Onyeka Okongwu moving more with the ball. We saw him take a couple dribbles and get to the rim, something that we've really missed since we've had Clint Capella. While Clint is better at Okongwu at some things, Okongwu is definitely more versatile on the offensive end. So I think that NBA teams just aren't really ready, and NBA fans aren't ready to see the leap that Onyeka Okongwu will take and what kind of a player he is. Because, yeah, he's been back up to a better player, Clint Capella. But this season, I think that could change. I don't think people are ready. What are your thoughts on that, Will?
Hey, like I said before, I don't want them to trade my boy Clint, man. I want Clint to be here now. But like, hey, to put that man Okongwu at the starting 5, he gonna have to put on some weight, man. He can't be like that with his regular body down there starting at the 5. I can't see him.
Oh, you don't think so? Oh, I think he's ready.
Yeah.
I think he's strong enough, 100%. I mean, he is stopping Giannis. He was stopping Embiid. He's stopping Cat.
You forgot them days. You forgot them days Clint Capella was hurt when he really had to take over. Not just.
I remember.
Oh, he was having some bad games, man.
Well, he was having some bad games, but I think Okongwu's ready to take that next step up. I don't think we'd take that far of a step back if we traded Clint Capella. It's a step back for sure, and I love Clint Capella, but I just think that Okongwu's ready to start, and especially since he's going to be up for an extension after the season or during the season, actually. I think you need to see what he can give us in around 30 minutes a night, because you don't want to be paying a backup center like 17 to 20 million a season, and that's what I think Onyeka is gonna settle at around there.
I mean, when is Onyeka contract over? I mean, coming up.
Onyeka is up for an extension this year, so if he doesn't sign that, he'll hit free agency after this season.
But Clint Capella's at the end of his contract, right?
Yeah, and Clint Capella.
Well, he got like 2 years on it?
Yes, I believe so.
So, yeah, let him finish out his contract.
I don't know. Like, I can see both ways. I'm not going to be – well, he signed a 2-year and in 2023. Yeah, so this is the only thing about Clint Capella. I think he's great. He's definitely we are a better team when Clint Capella is here. But there are perspectives about the organizational side and about the money side as well. If you think that Clint Capella is worth keeping and hitting into free agency and risk losing him for nothing, I respect that. And I think that there's merit to that decision. However, for me, I think you got to cash him in. I think you got to find a trade that gives you the right amount of value, namely like a first-round pick and maybe a top 8, top 9 rotation player for Clint Capella. If you can get that, I would do it. Just because I don't think we take too far a step back.
So who would be the backup center?
Bruno. Bruno can do it. I have confidence in Bruno.
You think Bruno can shoot some threes now?
Bruno, yes, he actually can shoot some threes. Did you see him in Houston?
Well, yeah, I know what they did in Houston when they gave him time. Well, that's why I say they get his boy Bruno some time. He can do some things now.
Yeah.
I really want to
So
see
I think
double
he could be a
O. I
backup.
want to see. I want to see Oyeka Okongwu at the 4. I really love to see that.
I know you do, but I just don't think that's gonna happen. I just really can't see that. So, but we'll see.
I hope that for the best Hawk team, that'll be the best play. Have him at that 4 and keep Clint Capella. We'll be hard to stop.
But well, yes, defensively we would. But what about spacing for Trey, DeJounte, Bogey, DeAndre, Sadiq? What about spacing for them to operate in the open court? I think that kind of constricts the half-court offense a bit. Wouldn't you think?
Well, now they've Oyeka been working on his 3 like he's been saying he's doing.
Well, yeah, he has, but I don't think he's gonna. I think he may, he may take 1 or 2 a game, but I don't think it's gonna be a significant volume enough to maintain that he can give spacing to some offensive players. That's the only thing.
Right. Yeah. If they require him to be at the 4, though, yeah, he's gonna be taking more 3s.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. So we'll see.
Right there, man. If he really working on that offense like he's saying he's doing, that'll be the best case scenario right there.
Yeah, 100%. Because his defense, we know his defense is there, and that versatility is going to be really important to this team this year. But I want to bring this tweet up again real quick because I want to do somebody that's not on the Hawks. Who's a player that you like, or who's a player that you saw last season that you think matches this graph right here? And if you need some time to think, I can explain mine real quick. Will, you there? Yeah, I'll go ahead and explain mine. But for me, Devin Vassell comes to mind for me. In San Antonio, you had Devin Vassell 2 years ago as a rookie, and he was good. He wasn't great though. Last year, he was injured a good amount in the second half of the season. But to start the season, he was playing really well. Devin Vassell had a great start to the season. And I think before Wemby got there, he was their best prospect. I think he's better than Keldon Johnson, better than Zach Collins. Now they've got Trey Jones, who's a solid point guard, brother of Tyus Jones. But Devin Vassell is, I think, the one guy there besides Victor Wembanyama who can be a starter on a really good team in the near future. And so I think a lot of NBA fans don't really know what he did last season and how his shot making and length at the 2 guard and the 3 position can really affect the game. So that's Devin Vassell for me, and Franz Wagner comes to mind as well. What about you?
So you talking about through the league? I'm sorry, I'm dropping their load off over here. So
you're good.
But yeah, you talking about in the league?
Yeah, so not on the Hawks, just like as an objective stance.
Oh man. There's so many choices, man.
There is a lot of players.
Let's see here. Hey, man, I don't know, Mikey. I don't know.
It's all good. If you think about one, let me know, and then we can talk about it during the Braves talk, which we'll get into in a minute here.
Yeah, that's you got me with that one.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see. By another show, let's see if you can come up with a player that you think matches that graph. All right.
I'm gonna think about it.
Sir. All right. Let's get to these Atlanta Braves. They win another series against the division rival New York Mets on the strength of some great pitching by Charlie Morton again in the final game of the season series, actually, between the Mets and the Braves. And in the second game, the offense wasn't that great. But you had Marcell Ozuna and Eddie Rosario, who are absolutely on fire. Both of them, it seems like every single time Eddie or Marcell comes to the plate, they're getting a hit. They're hitting over 500 over the past week. That's just an insane stat. They're hotter than the sun right now.
Yeah, they really been lighting it up, man.
Yeah.
Especially Ozuna, what he had 4 home runs in like 3 games?
Yeah, Ozuna had 4 home runs in 3 games.
He really been ripping it off, and after a while, like what, a couple months ago, everybody was talking about we need to trade Ozuna. We got to get rid of him.
Yeah.
And he comes out on fire, man.
Yep. I said this last week on the show, but the Braves need to re-sign Ozuna. They do. Because here's the thing.
Yeah, why this DH here? Yeah.
Here's the thing. DH. You've got his off the field struggles, and judging from what his teammates say and the coaches and the media around him and everything, they think that he's past that. Obviously that was what we thought about his after his first incident. But when the way that like hangs over his head from the perspective of other teams, I don't think they'll be willing to offer him that much money. If he can take a cheaper contract with the Braves, and I think he will, as long as we make a deep playoff run, we win the World Series. He loves these guys. He loves the clubhouse. I think you can have a guy like Ozuna on the team for cheaper than what his $18 million is now. What are your thoughts on that? No, it seems like.
All right, say that again, man.
Oh, I was just saying, what's your opinion on us re-signing Ozuna? Because I think, especially this clubhouse loves him.
I think I'm with that. That's what I was saying. I'm with that. I'll do that. As long as he's able to provide at the plate, man, I'll take that all day long.
Oh yeah, and
that makes us more dangerous. You know what I mean? We don't have to have him in the outfield. We got outfielders that can be out there. I really want them to cross-train Gresham for their left field position.
I don't know. Right now, Eddie Rosario's not going anywhere.
Right. But I'm saying, like, that's too good of a bat not to have up in the big leagues. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the thing.
He's not getting in the infield no time soon. The infield locked down.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And when Ozzy returns, which he was eligible to return tonight, but unfortunately he's not. We have Nicky Lopez in there starting at second base tonight still. But when Ozzy returns,
I ain't mad at Nicky either.
It's going to be interesting because we have Luke Williams and Vaughn Grissom, who are both candidates to be sent down when Ozzy Albies is activated, and as well Jesse Chavez and Kyle Wright on the men too, as he's started his rehabilitation assignment in with High A Rome, I believe it is. So we're going to have 3 roster spots opening. We're going to have to send down 3 guys, and I think Vaughn Grissom and Luke Williams are especially 2 of those guys. But that third guy, once Chavez and Wright are ready, that's going to be interesting to see who gets sent down. So, but in this Met series, in the first game,
they say Kyle Wright was looking good, man.
Yeah, he's
good.
He is, and especially in when he's rehabbing Kai Rome. That means within the next 2 to 3.5 weeks, you'll probably see Kyle Wright back in the Braves uniform on pitching for the Atlanta Braves, and not like the Gwinnett Braves in Mississippi or the High A Rome or the Gwinnett Stripers. So that's great news. I don't know now. Hopefully, he gets at least 4 or 5 starts before the playoff. That's what I'm going to need to see Kyle Wright be able to start a playoff game. So hopefully, he comes back in time to do that.
Right.
But
I agree with that, man. Like, you can't just show me one game. You got to show me a couple games and let me know that you back. You know.
Yeah. Similar to Fried, because obviously you saw Max Fried just destroy the Cubs lineup, went through them easily. But then he struggled against the Pirates. Then he had another bad start. Then he had another great start. Those four starts, and John Smoltz talked about this. Those first
but
four
they trust
him enough. Long IL stint can be really inconsistent. You're still trying to dial in the timing, dial in your pitches, and the feel of the MLB game again. But once you get after those 4 starts, you saw Max Fried have an excellent start in that 5th one.
Yeah, I think they trusted him enough though to bring him up. That's why they brought him up like that. So
yep,
they trust him to work through his, through the toughness.
And
but
so
I really believe they need to, like, when they're doing the playoff, I believe they need to have they 5-man rotation still like that. You know what I mean? And just have
I don't know.
the first starter. You know, just have the first starter to be the relief guy for that fourth game. You know what I mean? So like you can save.
I don't think you can do that though, because what if the game goes to game 5? You'll want that first starter starting that game.
Right.
So I don't think you can do that. Like, yes, I think you obviously have Max Fried on the roster. Spencer Strider obviously on there. Charlie Morton obviously on there. Then you make it a question of, okay, if Kyle Wright comes back, do we carry him? Do we carry Bryce Elder? I don't think it'll be 5, but I think there's a chance to be 4 and definitely 3. And the 3 will be Morton, Strider, and Fried. Speaking of Charlie Morton has now struck out 21 batters over his last 2 starts. Now, he struck out 10 against the New York Yankees a week ago. Now he strikes out 11 against the New York Mets to finish off the series win. So what did you think of Charlie's performance and just the groove he's in right now over his past 2 starts? Never mind. Okay. But I'll speak on Charlie Morton a bit here because I don't think people realize how good he's been this year. Yes, Charlie Morton will give up a long ball or 2. He had a couple hiccups maybe 4 or 5 starts ago where he started walking everybody. But normally, Charlie Morton's always going to give you that 5-6 innings. He may give up a long ball, like I said, but he's going to get those strikeout numbers. And he's been getting there over the past 2 starts for sure. I don't think people realize how his resurgence, he's almost 40 years old. His resurgence is one of the greatest late career resurgences in recent history, especially in Braves history. You've got guys like Spencer Strider, Max Fried, Bryce Elder, Kyle Wright. These young guys who are coming up into the league and want to make it to stardom. They're looking up at the success that Charlie Morton has had this season in terms of just the reliability and the consistency. Now, yes, Charlie Morton's not going to be Spencer Strider strikeout level, what he once was. He's not going to be the, oh my goodness, he's going to strike out 10, 11 batters every day. But he's going to give you those 5-6 innings. And I think a lot of guys on this roster and a lot of young pitchers in the league overall can take that from Charlie and learn from it because he's been so consistent. In the first game, you had the Braves go down 10-4 to the Mets. Now, normally it's the Braves who are hitting all the home runs and really hitting the ball out of the ballpark. But in this game, you had DJ Stewart, Rafael Ortega, former Brave, by the way, and Francisco Lindor go deep as the Mets beat the Braves 10-4. Marcell Ozuna still homered twice in that game, so he obviously hit his homers, but the Mets still had a great offensive game, which was really one that they haven't had in a long time. So shout out to the Mets, I guess, if you're a Mets fan there for that first game. But in the second game, it was a pitching duel and a nail batting. You had Eddie Rosario and Marcell Ozuna go deep, and the Braves snapped the 2-game skid. Now, what's really funny about the Braves Twitter section and just overall sports fans in general is why – excuse me. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. But it's really funny that after 2 games, you've got
all right, I'm back, Mikey.
Oh, you good? Yeah. I was just saying how after the first game of the Mets series and how we lost the game before that to the Giants, people started panicking over 2 games. I mean, we've seen this team for now.
Who's the pitcher?
We know what the Braves are.
Game?
Why are we panicking?
Who was the pitcher at the start of the Mets game?
Who was the pitcher at the start of the Mets game? In the first game?
Yeah, the first one.
It was Alan Winans.
Yeah, they brought him up. Why are they not bringing up Soroka? What is going on?
I have the same question, honestly. I think it could benefit Soroka to just see what we could get him every 5th day.
Right. It benefits us to find out what we got in him.
Yeah.
Either he's going to be here for the big league or he's not. Come on, we got to find out what we got, man. I'm not understanding that situation. He's healthy. He's not hurt. So what's the problem?
Yeah, I would like to see him come up for a spot start, or two, 100%. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Alex Anthopoulos and Brian Snicker have in the plans, because clearly that's not it.
Right. I'm not understanding it. Really not. Ain't nothing else he can learn down there in AAA. Nothing. He got to have big league. He got to have big league. He got to face big league battles.
But one thing I do like how the Braves are doing this, they're not forcing their starters to go out every fifth day. They're giving the starters an extra rest. That's why we're calling up guys like Alan Winans, giving Yanni Chirino some starts, who I don't think we'll see.
Who need to be cut right now. He needs to be cut now.
He's not going to get cut. He's not going to get cut. He doesn't have any options, and it's pitching depth. He's not.
He can just go to the
IL. We put him on the IL, 15-day IL. So that's definitely interesting.
So you know what that is. That's a chess move. Ain't that wrong with him. He just can't pitch.
Yeah. But it's funny because Yada Chirinos, I think he actually has some decent stuff. I really like his changeup and his splitter. Those are two pitches I think that are great weapons for him. But the mislocation on those just hurt him throughout his entire
he's good for. He's good to give you 1 to 2 innings. He's like that setup pitcher that you put him in the bullpen. He can give you 1, 2 innings, and then you bring in another. Like if you got one of the starters who can't go a whole.
You talking about like a long reliever?
Right. If you got a starter who can't go on the whole 6 or something, you can put him in, give you 2 innings, and pass it along to the 7-inning guy. So.
Yeah, I can see that. I like that idea. We could see him as just pitching depth on the playoff roster, which it would kind of shock me, but it is possible because he doesn't have any options remaining. He can't be sent down to AAA. So it's either he's going to go on the IL, he's going to pitch, or he's not going to pitch. But he's still going to be on the roster.
I don't think he will take that. I think he'll request to be released if they sent him down to the IL.
To the IL again? Oh, yeah, maybe. But, yeah, so he can't be sent down to AAA. That's all I know.
Down to AAA, not the IL, AAA. If they tried to send him to AAA, I think he'll ask for release.
They can't send him to AAA. He has no options remaining.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's going to be on this roster, I think. But is it for pitching depth, or is he actually going to get the ball? We'll see
if
that.
If they're going to use him, I use him as like that long reliever. That's what I use him as. Yep. Give me 2 innings and pass it on to that 7-inning guy, and let him finish it off.
Yeah. For me, this first game with the Mets, yeah, we had two bad pitching starts. So what? I remember when we were in Pittsburgh a couple weeks ago, everybody was panicking about our starting pitching after the break. Oh, we have the second worst ERA after the All-Star break. Then what do? The next week? We go and have the best ERA. We go and have a sub-1 ERA if you take out Yanni Chirinos over the next 1.5 weeks. So, this starting pitching has been consistent all year in the top 5. I think it's okay if we see 1 week, maybe 1.5 weeks where, we have 3 or 4 bad games in a row. But these guys have done this for too long for this season. We know how.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that, Mike. I ain't gonna say that it was consistent this whole year. No,
you wouldn't.
This pitching been inconsistent. The bat's been saving us a lot. Our bat's been saving us a lot.
But if you look at
we had some times where we showed up, yes, but they haven't been consistent now. You remember at first, we had Strider kind of look unfamiliar at a time.
But if you look at the ERAs across our pitchers, how can you say it's not been consistent?
Well, I know you can look at the ERA, Michael, but I always tell you got to look at both of them. You got to look at the ERA and the eye test. What the eye test tell you? They were struggling out there. The eye test tell you they were struggling. Bryce Elder went through a struggle mode for about 3 games.
Well, yeah, but that's only 3 games, right? You've got.
Hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm stepping away from me. Hold on.
Are you good? So, yeah, for me, there's You've got Charlie Morton, right? 3.37 ERA. Spencer Strider, 3.57. Bryce Elder, 3.39. Kirby Yates, 2.9. Joe Jimenez, who's been excellent this season, by the way, after a shaky start. He's put that trade of Justin Henry and Malloy, and he's made it worth it. So 2.62. Tonkin, 3.38. Iglesias, 2.88, who's had 16 straight saves, by the way, with a 0 ERA. Max Fried, 2.83 ERA. Yes, Colin McHugh has struggled, definitely. Nick Anderson's been injured. Jesse Chavez, 1.55 ERA, was almost an all-star. So, and then you've got guys like Yanni Chirinos, Kyle Wright, AJ Smith-Shawver, guys who haven't really had that many consistent.
Mikey, I'm like Johnson. Now I know. I love to have you at my court date. You know, you gonna have my back because you know this team haven't been consistent pitching. Now you don't have some of them days you sitting there be watching, you about to pull your hair.
You're not gonna give up less than 3 runs every single day when you're out there for 162
games.
No,
I don't expect that. I don't expect that. We had games back to back where we gave up over 3 runs.
Well, that was 1 week though. Like that was against the Pirates. Yeah, that's a
trend though. That's a trend, Mikey. That's what I'm saying. We haven't been always.
How is that a trend when it's just 3 days?
It's been more than 3 days now. I'm not gonna say we've been great this year, Mikey. We've been great, but we have been inconsistent.
Oh, all right. I will disagree, but I can see what you're saying. I'm just gonna I'll respectfully disagree with it. I think this pitching has been one of the better seasons the Braves have ever had as pitching wise over the past few seasons. But as we got Blackberry joining us here, what's going on, Blackberry?
What's going on, home team?
Blackberry, before you get started, let me ask Mikey this here, man. When we came off the All-Star break, Mikey.
Yeah.
Since you like the numbers, what was our numbers ERA wise?
Well, it was over 6.
Say that again.
Over 6 for.
We was consistent though, Mikey. You heard what you said. We was consistent, but we came back over 6 after the All-Star break. That's what I'm talking about, Mikey. We haven't been consistent. We ain't had our flaws. Man. And I'm saying I like that they just stuck with it though. Like, even though they were going through that tough time, they stuck with it and kept their head down and got back on track. Because Spencer Strider back to his old self right now.
Well, yeah.
All right, go ahead, Black Man.
Go ahead, Mikey. What you want me to speak on, man?
Oh, we're talking about the Braves pitching staff, and we were kind of having a little bit of a debate here. Will thinks that our pitching has been inconsistent this year, but I was saying that our starters, especially Charlie Morton, have been consistent throughout the entire season, except for you maybe have 1 week at a time or a couple starts there here and there where they haven't been. What do you think we've been more inconsistent or consistent with starting pitching?
I think the starting pitching has been consistent. For me, it's the bullpen that's been inconsistent.
Yeah, I would agree with that because especially in the beginning of the season, we didn't really know what we had with the bullpen. Joe Jimenez was really struggling. If you remember AJ Minter at the beginning of the season, he was not even. I didn't recognize the AJ Minter I was seeing for the first 3 weeks of the season. I didn't know who he was.
We're not gonna say that, y'all. They both been inconsistent. It's been time that the bullpen saved the starting pitchers. It's been time that the starting pitchers saved the bullpen. Now I'm saying, they both been inconsistent. Ain't nobody showing no consistency to me.
So Will, with your definition of inconsistent, are you talking about like for several weeks on a time? Because I can't remember when the Braves have had over several weeks a time when our starting pitching was really.
No, not that long. You don't have to go that long of a drought to be inconsistent. You know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to think, what's your definition of inconsistent?
2 to 3 games in a row.
That's crazy.
2 to 3 games in a row of.
We have 162 games, and you're talking 2 to 3 games in a row is inconsistent?
Yes,
I don't know about that one.
Mikey, we had a series where we played the Reds, and we had to score over 7 runs in each game to try to have a chance because our pitchers were giving up runs.
That's against the Reds and the Great American.
Oh no, we're not.
That's
You're not
that's
gonna separate it.
that
You're
is
not gonna
every
separate it like that, Mike.
that is
You're not
every
looking-
single that is
No,
every
Mikey,
single pitching
no.
staff that walks into that arena or that stadium.
No, Mikey. We're not gonna
Yes, yeah.
separate it like that, man. Okay, you want to get that? What about the Pirates? What about the Pirates then?
That was
we gave
bad.
up how many runs? We gave up.
I'll give you that.
against them.
Yeah, that Pirates pitching staff was terrible. That was inconsistent in charge time.
What about the Phillies?
Which Philly series?
The one where we went to Philly. We had to score over 5 runs in each game.
You talking about the last Philly visit? The last visit
Yeah,
to the
I
Phillies?
think it was the last one we faced them. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me check up on that. I'll check up on that and get back with y'all.
Because the offense for the Braves, you think like scoring 5 runs a game, 4 or 5 runs a game is you would expect them to do that at this point. So I think if they had to score over 5 runs a game, that is a bit much. So maybe, but yeah, we'll come back to the numbers for that later.
Let me tell you, I feel what we are saying, but I do think that the starting pitching more than not has been on point for the majority of the season. For me, it's the bad start with the bullpen at the beginning of the season, and then we had injuries in the bullpen that didn't help it none. And it seemed like every time we thought we was getting somewhere with the bullpen being consistent, like we went on a tear for then we had like a 8-game win streak. Well, it seemed
in June we went 23-4, I believe, or 22-4.
We were on this crazy run. But when you go back and look at some of them series during that skit, it was really the offense. It was the bats that kind of bailed us out from the bullpen, kind of letting teams get back over. You get back in the games, and we giving up 5th and 6th inning runs. That's just like 2-3 runs an inning after the 5th inning. That shit is inconsistent, man. That shit is very aggravating to watch.
Yeah, in that last Philly series, it was only one game that the Phillies won 2-1. Everything else was high runs in them. So that's what I'm saying. The Phillies won one of them 6-4. We won one 11-8. And that's what I'm saying. Like the starting pitching have been struggling a little bit. They haven't done long spurts. They don't go long spurts. I give you that. But they do have they tendencies to struggle. Like as you want, typically you want your pitcher to, if they have an off game, you want them to have an off game, then come back and bounce back, not have 2-3 off games in a row. You feel what I'm saying? We had a stretch that Bryce Elder had 3 games in a row where he was messing up. We had a stretch that Spencer Strider was having 3 games in a row where he was inconsistent. He was walking people. I didn't even recognize this Spencer Strider. I'm like, what's going on?
Yo, but I ain't see that But I ain't see that in back-to-back series or nothing like that.
That's what I'm saying.
No, not series. I can give you that. Not series, but they have days that they ain't done it though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. The only thing I would say to that is you've got, I think pretty much, in my opinion, you've got Garrett Cole over in the American League, the clear Cy Young winner at this point, to me at least. He just had a 2-game stretch where he gave up a ton of runs to the Red Sox, their arch rival, the Yankees' arch rival. And then he had another bad start just recently. So, I mean, but having 2 or 3 bad starts, to me, just doesn't make it inconsistent. But I can see what you're saying because you're hard on them. Like, we want this team to win the World Series, so I get where you're coming from. I just think that's a little bit crazy.
I just remember what happened to us last year. We won over 100 games last year. And once we faced the Phillies, we couldn't score no runs. And we couldn't stop them from scoring.
But
you know what I'm saying? We couldn't do it.
But we should be more healthy in the pitching. In the bullpen, Strider. We should be more healthy this season. Though.
Strider and Fried were injured in the postseason last year. That cannot be ignored.
We should be healthier this year, right?
Hopefully. Fingers crossed right there. Fingers crossed, 100%. But, yeah, last thing I'll say about this Mets series as we had a mix of games, obviously, in this series. 10-4 the first game. The Mets offense, they got against Allen Winans. They got some good hits. You got to give credit to them. I think Allen Winans has shown a lot of promise over his couple of starts here, but this was the first game where I just was like, oh, I didn't see it. Now the second game, you had Rosario.
I think they just was aggressive against the young guy. They was real aggressive on him.
Oh yeah, they were. They were swinging early in the count. Yeah, good point. And in the third game, you had a complete Braves win, and that's what Peter Moylan said at the end of the broadcast. I think he was the one doing it, or was it Chris Medlin? Either one of the two on Braves Live. He said the Braves had a complete win in that third game of the series, and I completely agree. Shutout from Charlie Morton, 11 Ks, one of his best starts of the season. And then you had when the offense scores 7 runs. When the Braves score 7 runs, I wonder how many times they've lost a game in this year. It's probably less than 10. Because the pitching has been pretty good over the long period of the season. So that's what I have to say about the Mets series. Any final thoughts before we
You know what, Mikey?
Mm-hmm.
We had the bats do something that we ain't used to them doing. They went inconsistent for a minute. There was some time we couldn't even muster up 3 runs in some games.
You talking about after the All-Star break?
Yeah, after the All-Star break. Whatever they did down there, I don't like it.
That happens to a lot of first place teams, by the way. It's just a recurring theme. It's not an excuse. I'm just like stating what I've seen over my my life watching baseball. A lot of first place teams, when they have a comfortable lead after the All-Star break, they'll run into a skid. And that's what OG was saying when we were first picked up the show after the All-Star break. This team will probably go into a skid, and he was right. But I think they've got out of that skid. We've seen the pitching. We've seen the offense come back to a little what we were used to before the All-Star break. Would y'all agree with that?
Yep. Me, Chauncey, myself, and Big Ant. We all said, all 3 of us said that.
They all said that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my bad. I my bad if I forgot. But yeah, they hit a skid and took maybe a week or two. They're back now. That's what.
The thing is, though, we doing all this and we ain't even been healthy all year.
Exactly.
We ain't even been healthy all year. So that's why. That's
another argument to prove the pitching's been consistent. But hey.
No, don't you do it, Mikey. Don't you do it. But they had some games where they wasn't doing nothing, man. But I commend Snicker. I commend Snicker, man. Like he got these boys hitting it on right once they. That's his mentality, though. It's gonna be all right. We just give it a couple of days. They'll get back on point. That's his. He laid back like that.
He is laid back.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's laid back like that, but like, and they respond to him well. They like him. They like this coach. So like, he got their ear. So I give him that.
Yeah. And in this Giants series, we're gonna face some tough pitching. We faced Logan Webb just a week ago. Austin Riley's 357. Austin Riley's batting 357 for him. Matt Olson's batting 267, and he had a homer. But Eddie Rosario has been a Giants killer and an NL West killer over the entirety of his career. He's now entering this game. He's 4 for 7, which is a 571 average off Logan Webb, who's going to be opposing Spencer Strider tonight. Now, we know Webb is a sinker baller from last week, and he's a tough customer. He's a great starting pitcher. What do the Braves have to do to try and do what they did at home, honestly? They didn't show an offensive burst, 6-7 runs off Logan Webb, but they put 3 or 4 up on the board over a couple innings and did enough pitching to just stay out ahead and get that win. What do they need to do to try and repeat that performance this night?
I say all they got to do is make him throw pitches. Be a tough at bat. Make him strike you out. Don't give him a strikeout. Don't go chasing everything. Just sit up there and watch. I mean, it's all right to take a couple pitches. You know what I'm saying? See what he's doing. If you one of these batters that coming up early, like the 1 or 2 hole hitter, man, sit down and take some pitches. Let him see what he got, man. You know what I'm saying? So it can help your teammates too, so they can see what he coming with. So just, make him throw strikes. That's what I'm gonna say. Don't chase.
Make those starts. All right, Blackberry. What about you?
Yates.
This is true too.
Yates.
Mm-hmm.
We have to close better playing these Giants, man.
Oh yeah.
Like you just said, with we're gonna go up against some really good pitching with these Giants. Our closer, we cannot afford to have the bases loaded in the top of the Giants gonna be
In the bottom.
at the bottom. Okay, we cannot
Hey,
have
Blackberry,
bases loaded at the bottom of the ninth, bro.
You know, Mikey said they consistent though. You know.
No. What?
I'm just messing with you, Mike.
What? Kirby Yates, me and Blackberry both agreed with you. I mean, Kirby Yates at the beginning of the season was really inconsistent. Like we thought he might have to be sent down to AAA. But since then, over the past few months, he's had a sub-3 ERA. He's been good. If you look at like the totality of his season, Kirby Yates has had a good season. But those first 2 months, that was rough. Same thing with Michael Harris, honestly. Look at Michael Harris. He's almost at a 300 average now, and he was sub 200. He was a 180 hitter in May and late April.
You can thank Ozuna for that.
Yep.
After Ozuna had that conversation with him, he got back on track because Ozuna was in that same predicament.
Exactly. And for me, against Logan Webb, you've got to be selective with your pitches. I like not chasing them, but being a little bit even more specific with that, you've got to see the ball up. With a sinker baller, they're going to start the ball in the middle of the strike zone because they want you to roll over the top. They want to get those ground ball double plays. That's what Bryce Elder executes really well when he's out there. So with Logan Webb, who throws a bit of a turbo sinker, you need to be able to determine whether it's a sinker, and if it starts in the middle of the zone, maybe take a pitch or two, or if it's an 0-2 count and you're protecting with 2 strikes, you're gonna want to swing a little bit lower than where the ball starts, because it's gonna come down to that bat.
Something he's really good at, from what I've seen. He's really good at, from what I've seen in that last series with him. That dude can put that sinker right there on the inside of that zone.
Yes, that's a specialty.
It is so hard to hit that damn ball, man. Like you said, maybe it'd be more selective with it, and maybe you get the the call of the ball when it's right there, when it's close. But because he's very good at putting that thing on the inside of that zone, man. Yeah,
don't be shocked if there's a good amount of ground balls today, especially from the Braves side. But hopefully they'll be hard ground balls, through the holes and at 100 plus mile per hour off the bat. That's what we want if they are going to be on the ground.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man, because that ball gonna be coming off. It's gonna be coming off the handle of that damn bat. The way that dude put that sinker in.
We might see some broken bats today with Spencer
Strider.
What
I don't understand?
Mm-hmm.
Why do the hitting coaches don't teach this? But who sees the ball at its finest point?
Wait, what do you mean? I don't understand the question.
The catcher, right? The catcher sees the ball at its finest point.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So why do hitters not set their eyesight to catcher level? You know what I mean? So they can really see the ball.
Well, that would mean changing.
You changing your batting stance almost.
Yeah,
you changing the way you hit.
No, you ain't got to change. You ain't got to change your batting stance. All you got to do. On the dip.
Wait, how could they? If they got down to catcher level, how would they not have to change their batting stance?
That's hard. Man.
No, Mike. Look, let me explain it to y'all what I'm saying.
Yeah. Maybe I'm not understanding it.
Yeah. When I played baseball, I won multiple trophies at clutch hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way how I set my eye level though, I set my eye level to catcher level because I played catcher. You know what I mean? That's who catch the ball at its finest point. So what I'm saying is, when from that ball leaving the pitcher to get to home plate, the catcher is at the finest point where that ball is gonna be when they land. You see what I'm saying? So on my stands, I'm up. But when I do my leg kick, my head is dropping. You know what I'm saying? So I can see the ball.
Well, I see what you're saying, but that's in my opinion, that's still changing a batting stance, and I don't think many people are going to do that especially
all you changing is
level.
your head, Mikey. All you changing is your head. Once you do your
that's
leg,
a big thing. That's
all you doing. Once you do
that's
your
a big
leg
adjustment.
kick, you dropping your head. That's all you thinking about. I'm dropping my
know.
head as I do my leg kick, so I can see the ball, see the whole rotation of the ball. You see what I'm saying?
Well, it sounds like you had a hell of a unique skill there.
Hey man, I played all 3 sports in high school, man. I played all of them. If I didn't get injured, I'd probably be on somebody's football team right now. But
the ability to do that and the ability to do that mid pitch, that's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, it is because you have like 0.03 seconds to recognize that.
It's a timing game. Baseball is all about timing. So all you're doing is you know what I'm saying, in syncing your leg kick with his leg kick. You know what I'm saying? And your head, once you drop that head down, you're gonna see the rotation of the ball. That's all I'm saying. Man, I could pull up some old videotape of me, man. I'm telling you, man.
Well, you need to be a hitting coach.
Yeah,
that's what
if you can coach them, if you can train folks to do that, boy, you got a hell of a promising career as a hitting coach.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That's the point, Blackberry. You can tell this is not taught in practice. It's got to be taught in practice like you're gonna play in the game. So, like, if you in practice, instead of them, you know what I'm saying, like using, you know, they batting practice when they out on the field trying to slap it over the fence and everything. Just throw your bat at the ball. Try to get, you know what I'm saying, try to make eye contact with the ball. You feel what I'm saying? Not just try. You can do all your power swings in the inside batting cage. When you out down the field, you just try to see, you know what I'm saying, connect with the ball. You know you know how the sun reflects to the plate. You know what I'm saying? Get your back seeing the ball, and that's gonna help you have a better game. But then you can tell they don't coach this stuff, man. Man, we used to when we played baseball, man. We practiced off the tee. We did the inside batting cage, and we did we put the
I mean, they do that as
machine.
well.
We put the pitch machine on the mound.
I would hope
put the pitch machine on the mound. You know what I'm saying? So they put the pitching machine on the mound. The pitching machine throwing 90-mile-per-hour curve balls and all this. We did this when we was practicing. That's what I'm saying. The coaching make coaching hard these days, man. They make coaching hard.
But yeah, with this Giant series, it's going to be 2 familiar teams facing. We just faced them last week, so there'll be no surprises. Let's see if we can have a similar result where, you know, we take the series and then we'll see what happens in the 3rd game. A sweep is hard in the MLB, no matter who it is. So we'll take a series win, especially when going out west. Historically, the Braves have not been good in San Francisco or LA. We're going to play LA win our next 10 games. And that Dodgers series, the top 4 MVP candidates will be in that series. That series.
I think we played Colorado, then we played the Dodgers out there.
Yeah, we play the Dodgers after Colorado. That is going to be must-see TV. That Dodger series, that's going to have top 4 MVP candidates. It's going to have the Will Smith versus Marcelo Zuna drama from the earlier in the season, if y'all remember that.
Oh, the backswing.
Yeah, with the backswing. And it's going to have Mookie Betts versus Acuna, who, and in my opinion, those are my 2 favorite outfielders in the league right there. If I had a favorite player that was not on the Braves, it's Mookie Betts.
Mookie Betts, yeah. Yeah, mine. Me too.
So I'm excited for that series. It's going to be a challenge because the Braves, like I said, they don't play well in Chavez Ravine. But we're gonna put it up to those Dodgers because we owe them some revenge still for taking us out of the postseason 3 times in the last 5 years.
We took ourselves out the postseason.
Yeah, especially in 2021. That was annoying. I mean,
we did ourselves
2020. In 2021, we took a 3-1 lead.
That was that bull crap infield fly one. That bull crap infield fly call.
Well, no, that was against the Cardinals.
That was against Cardinals. Yeah, the Cardinals.
That was the Cardinals. That's right.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you, for this Giants series coming up, man, I want Yates to redeem himself from that last game against the Giants. I really want him to redeem himself.
I do too. And you won't see Kirby Yates close that many games. That was only because AJ Minter and Rice Iglesias were unavailable because they pitched the previous 2 nights.
I think he
Right.
closed
Yeah,
it
so
because we was up so many runs. Well, how many runs we was up?
Nah, we was only up. We were
We're
tied.
up. No, we're up one, or we were tied, and then he allowed
we
a
were
run without
tied.
getting a hit. Because Will, it was he walked the batter, hit
It
two
was
guys,
go ahead walk.
he struck out two guys, and then he
Yeah,
walked
that's
Josh
right.
Peterson.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Crazy inning,
Okay.
crazy inning for sure. But any final thoughts before we wrap it up there?
No,
Hey,
man.
man.
I'm telling you, man, your
Thank
boy was a good athlete, man. I was a good athlete. I ain't get hurt. Yeah. I was a good
Yes,
athlete.
sir.
Man.
Yeah, man. The way you
That's
explaining that talent.
consistency, Will, that's
Yeah.
consistency.
Hey, my mama got so many trophies. She had to get one of them China cabinets to hold all them trophies. I had them,
Yes,
boy.
sir. All right. And with that being
Man.
said, we're going to end it right there, guys. Thanks for tuning in to Georgia Sports Nation tonight. Be sure to tune in next week, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern. More Hawks and Braves content on the way for you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you're on YouTube, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Go Hawks!
Peace out.